Kasi wala pa na ko. Ako ingon ako na present ha. Awit, Banal, Bunga Gomez, Latiero, Magpayo, Malinaw, Pastoriza, Ranyowa, Silvano. Kasi wala pa. Nako na encode ilang names. I-chat na lang palihog dari ha. Okay, so let's start our lesson this afternoon on apportionment and voting. Okay. So any questions before or queries before we start? Oh, later na lang ha. I'll just finish everything first and then we'll discuss matters later. Okay? So this afternoon or for the semi-final term, we will have apportionment and voting. Okay? So we'll start with apportionment. So in the Philippines, since our representatives were identified by district, apportionment might be used in different area. Although the origin of apportionment is on allocating representatives of the state, there are many applications of apportionment like job assignments, personnel deployment, allocation of budget, or even on class scheduling. Now, there are two competing plans in 1970, the Alexander Hamilton and the Thomas Jefferson. So we'll discuss first the Hamilton plan. Okay? Under this plan, the total population is divided by the number of representatives. This gives the number of citizens represented by each representative. This number is called the standard divisor. Thus, our standard divisor is equal to the total population divided by the number of people to apportion. So for illustration purposes, let us consider company X, Y, and Z with the following department and workers. If the company would like to have planning and evaluation session, the company can cater 20 people only. So how many representatives will each department would have? So here we are going to select 20 correspond representatives from these departments. So how are we going to do that with a total number of 3,150 coworkers? So from here, we will use first the Hamilton plan. So what you do is you first divide the total population by the number of people to apportion. So that's 3,150 divided by 20. That is equal to 157.5. So this number will serve as your standard divisor. This standard divisor will then be used to divide to the number of workers per department. So you have for security department, you have 1.5873. For the accounting department, you have 1.1429. For the supplies, you have 1.7143. And for the marketing department, you have 4.7619. For the production, you have 9.5238. For the customer care department, you have 1.2698. Now, what you do for the standard quota class is you only need to get the whole number part. So for the security department, you have one. For the accounting, you have one. For the supplies, you have one. For the marketing department, you have four. For the production department, that's nine. And for the customer care department, you have one. If you're going to add these numbers, you only get 17 representatives. So what are you going to do with the 3 na lacking? So you take a look at the decimal part. So Pastor Riza, asa may pinakadako nga decimal part as you can observe? Pastor Riza?
Ma'am.
Asa may pinakadako nga decimal part as you can see?
Sa decimal part na mag-base ma'am yung dili ako number po no?
Wala sila. Humana ang whole number
Yeah,
part
ang 0.7619 ma'am.
is point 0.7 or so 0.7619. So kay mo man ang highest, so dara ta mag-add og another one representative sa marketing department. Okay? Next, Karen, Louis. What is the next highest? So we have 18. Kulang na lang tagduha. Karen,
Ma'am,
asa man ang next highest after the marketing department?
mga 9.5238, ma'am.
Decimal part lang, decimal part lang.
9, ma'am.
Ano, ang decimal part na itanawa, di ba ang ganiha is marketing department, that's 0.7619. What is the next highest nga decimal part? Asay pinaka next highest sa marketing, that's 0.76. Ayun na tanawa ang whole number part, ha? Yes, somebody's raising.
Supplies department.
Kanyowa. Okay, it's
Supplies department,
supplies
ma'am.
department. Okay, so that's supplies department, di ba? Okay, it's 0.76, dayon 0.7143. So need to add one representative again for the supplies department. So what is the next highest? Kay 19 naman atong representatives. Next highest. Yes, Silvano.
Security, ma'am.
Okay, so it's security department, that's 0.5873. So we'll add another one sa security department, making us 20 representatives. So from here, muna ni siya ang nahitabo kaganiha, di ba? Kaning standard quota mo ni siya ganiha, 17 ra na sila kabuo. But by looking at their decimal part, we add one gradually, hantud maabot na to ang total number of representatives that we need for the planning session, and we get 20. Okay? Sabtan ang Hamilton plan. Question. Clarification. Sabtan ra? Question.
Unsa to, ma'am? Unsa to, ma'am? Naputol-putol mo ning tingog, ma'am.
Nagputol-putol ko?
Sa akwara siguro, ma'am, kay ulan-ulan mangudri sa mua.
Okay. I mean like to get your number, total number or desired number of representatives, you only need, after looking at the whole number part, tanawo na pud ninyo ang decimal part. So dito na pud mo mag-add o kinay-hinay. So for example, in our case, we only have 17. So from the 17 representatives, kulang ta og 3. So mag-add ta og 1 sa marketing department kay siya isa siya pinaka-highest. Then 18 na. Then next is supplies. So 19. And then lastly sa security department. So that completes our number of representatives. Question before we proceed to Jefferson plan. So inganto ang process, ha? Inganto ang process. You divide the total number of workers, or kung sa stat pa na, das population, divided by the number of people to apportion. So that's 20. Dayon, the standard divisor will now be used to divide to the number of workers per department. Okay, so then the quotient, for the quotient, you only need to get first the whole number part. If kulang, tanawa na din ang decimal part, then gradually add 1 to the department with the most or the highest value in their decimal part. So nga na lang. Question. Taptan? Yes, magpayo.
Ma'am, yun sige pagkuha ang kaning sa ubos kaning 157.5.
Standard divisor. So that's total population. So that's 3,150 divided by 20. Ang 20 is the number of people. So a portion.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Question. Clarification. Wala na? Okay. So this time, we will proceed to the Jefferson plan. So in the Hamilton plan, the tendency of not having the correct number of representative is possible. Thus, Jefferson plan attempts to overcome this difficulty. So the divisor to get the quotient is identified by trial and error. So trial, error, try and error. and is called the modified standard divisor. For instance, in our illustration, since the standard divisor of 157.5 give a lower than the target value, then we must identify another denominator of lower value than 157.5 to get a total number of representative closer to 20. So we have here, muna ni siya. So my first trial is 135. By using 135 as divisor, the number of representative is 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5, 9 plus 11 is 20 plus 1, that's 21. That is beyond our total number of representative. So kay sobra ra pud ang mahatag sa 135, we increase the number to 136. Remember, this is trial and error. So from 157.5 class, you can start with 140, you can start with 139. It's up to you. As long as you can get the desired number of representative without using the decimal part, parehas Hamilton plan. Okay, by using 136 as the divisor, so we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 5, that's 8 plus 11, 19 plus 1, that's 20. So therefore, by using a modified standard divisor, we were able to get the desired number of representative per department. Okay? Question. Question, clarification. Nasabtan ra? Jefferson versus Hamilton?
Ma'am. Kapag
Yes.
to, ma'am, di ba kay ma'am kay ganun nawagi siya, gideduct siya ma'am kay nagsobra.
Ay,
Ano
asa
sa
man?
supplies department nga part.
Supplies. Dahil sila pananaw. Oh, kani. No, no. Since you are using another divisor naman good, 136. So if you divide 270 by 136, you get 1.9853. So
Okay,
kaya ang
ma'am.
whole number naman atong tanawon. So muna na-reduce siya.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, unsa pa? Question. Clarification.
Ma'am, dili na siya gina-round off, no?
Ay, dili na. Ang whole number lang yun. Ang mga whole number part lang yun ang atong ginatanhang.
Okay.
Okay? Sabtan? So, okay. So that's Jefferson and Hamilton plan. Okay. Now let us proceed to, so basically, the Hamilton and Jefferson plan class gives a different number of representatives per department. Lahi gid ihang value. But in general, as you can observe, the higher the number of workers per department, the higher would be the representative on that particular department. So kung statistics pa ni siya, this is proportional allocation, just like in stratified sampling. Okay, now, let's continue. So let's discuss fairness in apportionment. So the criterion of fairness for an apportionment method should, number one, satisfy the quota rule. Number two, average constituency. Number three, smaller relative and fairness. So for the quota rule, we have the number of representatives apportioned to a state is the standard quota or one more than the standard quota. For the average constituency, it is computed using the formula average constituency is equal to population of a state divided by the number of representatives from the state. Next, we have relative unfairness. This is computed using the formula relative unfairness of an apportionment is equal to absolute unfairness of the apportionment over average constituency of the state receiving the new representative. And absolute unfairness is equal to the absolute difference of average constituency of A minus average constituency of B. Now, to illustrate the method, let us have this example. So we have here department, marketing department, and accounting department. So The number of workers are 3,220 for the marketing department, and for the accounting department is 5,180. The number of representatives are 4 for the marketing and 7 for accounting. So let's start computing the average constituency of all. So you simply divide the number of workers by the number of representatives for the marketing department. So you have 805 for the marketing, and accounting you have 740. For the average constituency of new, meaning sila'y maka-receive, manabag ikaw, kung ikaw maka-receive sa new representative. So from 4, you only need to add 1. So mo na nahimo siyang 5 divide for that. That makes it average constituency of new. So that's 3,220 divided by 5, it's 644. And for the new accounting department, that's 5,180 divided by 8, so that's 648. Then for the absolute unfairness of apportionment, so you simply get the difference of the average constituency of new for the marketing department, minus the average constituency of old for the accounting department. And for the accounting department's absolute unfairness, you subtract the average constituency of new for the accounting department minus average constituency of old for the marketing department. So lastly, for the relative unfairness, you divide the absolute unfairness by the average constituency of new, giving us 0.1491 sa marketing department and 0.2423 sa accounting department. Now, which among using these values sa relative unfairness, which among the two departments must receive the new representative? So according to this apportionment principle, when adding a new representative, the representative is assigned to the state in such a way as to give the smallest relative unfairness of apportionment. So, question. Asa man sa duha ang smaller value, and that would be the department na maka-receive sa new representative. Which among the two?
Marketing
Ang,
department.
okay, it's the marketing department. Okay, yes, Mehos. Matt, Mehos?
Ay, yes, ma'am, the marketing department.
Okay, thank you. So, ingani lang ni siya, ingani lang pagka-solve actually. So, using apportionment principle, no? So, yes, magpayo.
Ma'am, sa apportionment principle ba, perminti na siya duha ang gina-compare na example sa departments. Di na
Usually.
siya mo abot tulo.
Usually, kay tanaon man ang old o new man, napabi average constituency of old. So, pag-compute man good sa absolute unfairness, di ba, kailangan nimo ang absolute unfairness sa isa, ay average constituency of old sa another department. So, basically, duha na din ang imong gina-compare kung mo gamit ka ani.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Kaya kung tulo, lisod man taong saan man nato pag get ang difference. Siguro kung naitulo, by pair, kung saan man. Lisod tingali siya. So, duha na yun tingali ka department. Okay? So, nasabtan? Kira?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, question, nasabtan ra? Okay. So, this time, we'll have Huntington-Hill apportionment method. So, the value of P sub A square over A times A plus 1, where P sub A is the population of state A, and A is the current number of representatives from state A, is called the Huntington-Hill number for state A. So, the state with a greater Huntington-Hill number receives the next representative. So, for our illustration, let's have the number of visitors per beach and their lifeguard. So if one new lifeguard is to be assigned to which beach will it be using the Huntington-Hill apportionment method? So for Siargao, the Huntington-Hill is 185,196. For Bohol, it's 100,548. And for Boracay, it's 68,643. So according to this, the principle, The state or the beach with a greater number of Huntington-Hill receives the next representative. So in this case, we will have Siargao Island as the one who will receive the new lifeguard. So according to Balinsky-Young impossibility theorem, any apportionment method either will violate the quota rule or will produce paradoxes. Question. That ends our lesson. Question. Question. Sabtan ra? So medyo gamay-gamay ra tong medyo gamay ra tong lesson sa ano no. I-compare ninyo sa midterms, 'di ba? Medyo taas-taas gyud ang midterms it's about statistics. So usually every lesson mag-prepare jud kog around 40 slides, 30 kapin ka slides just to finish no tanan part sa lesson. Okay. By the way, next meeting on Monday you will have an activity on Monday, and on next Thursday after my lesson as posted, you will have your title proposal. So just prepare 3 slides lang per group. 3 lang ka slides. The slides must contain your group members, your title, and why do you chose anak nga title. Okay? Excuse me. So any more questions? Nasabtan na ang lesson? Or na yung mga clarifications?
Ay, ma'am, ang kuan day ma'am, ang clarification ang concern day ni Kiana ma'am kay ang katong about sa midterm exam.
Yes. Unsa man? Unsa na sa midterm exam?
Then dagan kay question ya mag-solve by
Okay. Dili man to siya more on kuan kapag yung mga true or false lang.
Yes, ma'am.
I think medyo
Yes, ma'am,
medyo
pero
taas lang
ang uban
siya,
man
pero
ma'am kinahanglan.
wala man pud mo gi kuanan og type.
Yes, ma'am, kay mo
I
ba
even
yung
check.
time ma'am ba niya? Dagan kay question ba tapos ano like mag-solve man ang uban. Tapos malagi ma'am again ma'am, not everyone has the same capability as others. Others may be slow
Pero
ma'am
wala
pero
man pud
makuha
mo
nila.
gitagano. Wa pa biyat pud ko mo gi 5 days later pa pud na ako gi-check wala ba ko mo gi.
Yes,
Although
ma'am, pero
gitagan
ang
ko
ano
og
ma'am
time
balik
to
I mean ang concern na ma'am is during the examination ma'am is ang time is limited kaayo tapos kuan tawag ani limited kay ang time niya daghan kay question again ma'am not everyone has the capability to solve questions faster even though dapat tay true or false mo to ang concern ma'am like kay ang kasagaran ma'am na mga subjects nga naay true or false maghatag gid sila taas nga time ay true or false nga naay solving kay maghatag gid sila taas nga time mo to ma'am natingala pud ni ma'am bangala nga taas kay ang kuan ang daghan kay siya questions then mubo kay ang time. Mga tong concern ni Kiana ma'am.
okay. Thank you for your concern.
Yes ma'am. Thank you so ma'am.
Unsa pay concern lain? Yes, Mehos.
Hey ma'am, I don't have kuan pa research group mates.
Mehos.
Yes ma'am.
Kindly, wait lang ha. Check sana. Okay, ang uban, kung wala na kung anong uban, you can now leave. That's all for our class today. Okay, I'm going to talk with my husband. Okay?
Sige
Personal.
ma'am, thank you kayo ma'am for listening
Okay,
for our
bye.
ano ma'am, sa among concerns.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ha? Release of score sa? Ay, di na ko i-release ang scores na. Dito na sa kuan. Face to face. Ano sa ba to? Kalimutan ko. Budget lang ha. Tanawin sa akong schedule ha. Um, Nasa ito, face to face. Upgrade showing. November 4. At least makita ninyo ang inyong scores. Akong class record mismo ako ipakita sa inyo ha. Tagsa-tagsa mo musulod sa link. Para makita nyo ninyo. Oh, yes. Para makita nyo ninyo ang class record mismo.
Sige, ma'am. Thank you kayo, ma'am.
Dili na ako siya i-release. Dili na ako siya i-release.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So the rest you can go. Katong kuan. Katong wala na concern kay we are going to talk personally with Mehos, ha? Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
bye-bye.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.